The iPhone XS and XS Max came out about 4 months ago, and you already know the specs and the bells and whistles, but let's say you decided to drop over $1,000 to buy the phone. How would it perform about 4 months later? How would it perform down the line? Well, I'll tell you about that. But first of all, the phone is still beautiful, gorgeous. It's the most premium feeling phone I've ever held in my hand. The stainless steel on the sides, the glass on the back, and the new gold color. I really like it. It looks pink in some lighting conditions or peach in some lighting conditions. But let's be smart here. The back glass and the front glass, if you break them, you'd have to pay about $1,000 to fix them. Now, that's about the price of another iPhone XS. And for that money, you can buy 200 footlongs from Subway instead. So let's be smart and spend about 30 bucks and just put a case on the device. I'll link this one in the description. I use a leather case for mine, and it still looks and feels great. Now, when you own a device for a long time, there's something you're gonna be using each and every day, and that is the screen. And the screen on the XS Max and the XS, the screen is just beautiful. The screen is beautiful. The colors look great. Technically, they're not accurate, completely accurate, like to a standard, like sRGB or something. But they do lean towards sRGB, if that makes any sense. But just know the colors are decently accurate, and the screen quality is amazing. Going on Instagram or looking at photos, like that's just, it's just beautiful to look at. But normally when someone says the screen is amazing for a device like a Samsung Note device or something, they follow up by saying it's a great multimedia device. That means you can watch a lot of videos on Netflix and enjoy yourself on the device. But on this device, I mean, you can. On the iPhone XS Max and the XS, you can watch videos on them, and they're nice, they're fine. But if you want to pinch in and like watch it full screen, then the notch is going to come into play. Apart from that, the notch doesn't get in your way. When you use Instagram or Snapchat or any other applications, as long as you're not viewing like a video or watching a movie full screen, then you would not be bothered by the notch. The notch is completely fine. If you remember correctly, then you know that the technology for Face ID is what is actually inside the notch. And if you're ever skeptical about Face ID, then don't worry about it. Face ID is amazing. It's great. It's seamless. It doesn't get in your way. You don't have to worry about it. It's just works. You're just in your phone whenever you want to be in your phone. Like, it recognizes you like that fast, and it's never a hassle, except when your phone is laying down flat and you kind of have to lean into the phone to unlock it, or you have to pick it up to unlock it. So there, it's annoying, because if you want to use your face there, it's inconvenient unless you want to put in the passcode, and that's inconvenient as well. So a fingerprint would be nice there, but that's the only inconvenience. That is the only inconvenience with Face ID. Only there. It's worked for me in every other condition. But I don't use glasses. They'll tell you that. I don't use glasses. I haven't tried it underwater or anything. I don't know how much that comes up in your life. But Face ID works. It's great. Yeah, if you wanted to get this device to watch videos, and the notch didn't stop you, maybe this might. If you watch a lot of YouTube videos, then you know that any iOS device basically is not good for YouTube videos. You're not gonna enjoy watching. You're not gonna get the full experience of watching YouTube videos. You can only watch up to 1080p first of all, and yeah, YouTube makes a list of their signature devices, and there's no iPhone on that list. So if YouTube is like a big priority to you, like it is for me, then you don't want any iPhone. Just letting you know. Now, reviewers will tell you a lot about the screen and how great it is on day one. But since they don't really use the same phone for so long, they don't know how good the screen will be on day 301, you know? So burn-in could be a factor if you have an AMOLED screen. I have the Samsung Galaxy S8 as well, and that phone right now, the screen is really messy. It's really messy because of screen burn-in. And if you watch any reviews prior to that, you see that the phone screen is amazing. It's completely great. But those people who made the reviews didn't use the phone for so long, so they couldn't have warned me about the burn-in. But AMOLED screens normally have burn-in, but I I don't have any burn-in on the iPhone XS Max, and I googled it to see if anyone else has the problems like I've had on my Samsung devices, but no, I didn't see a lot of posts saying there was any burn-in, so I think you should be fine there. So that screen will hold up, it looks like, for a while, and it's a great screen. Another thing like other reviewers can tell you about is the performance of the device. They can tell you how the device performs on day 1 or day 2 or a week into using it or 2 weeks into using it, and it could be great completely then. But how about 4 months later? How about 5 months later? How about 2 years later? You know, it might start to lag. It might have to start to stutter and start to show some problems that weren't there on day 1. But I really don't think that's the case with this iPhone. This iPhone is so responsive. It's so smooth. It is the smoothest phone I've used in my life. The smoothest and basically the fastest. Yeah, the smoothest and the fastest phone I've used ever. And I've used a lot of phones. I love technology a lot, but this phone is very smooth. I have never experienced any lag whatsoever with it, and it's never been in my way. And when you don't even think about it, like I never have to think about it, and when you never have to think about it with the phone, and that means the phone never gets in your way, and that's how a phone is supposed to be. And this phone is it. It's it. It'll never get in your way, basically, unless Apple makes another update like iOS 11, and then you probably have some problems. But right now as I'm making this video with iOS 12, the iPhone XS and XS Max, they do not lag. They're great. Battery, how about the battery? The battery life on the XS Max is, first of all, battery life is subjective. There's some people that use their phones to text and just make calls, and that's it. And there's some people that edit videos and surf the web and watch YouTube all day, and like are heavy gamers on their phones. And I don't know why you'd be a phone gamer, but if you are, then your battery life as a mobile gamer is going to be very different as a battery life of just someone that just calls and makes text messages. So for me, I'm able to get to the end of the day with the device, and I think I would say I'm a power user. I watch a lot of YouTube on my phone. I don't play games, and I don't edit video on my phone, but I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I'm always connected to a Bluetooth headphone or something. I use the camera a lot. I use Snapchat a lot. I use Instagram a lot, and it gets me to the end of the day. So I would say the battery life is good. Other people have said the battery life is great. I've not heard a lot of people say the battery life is not good. So it probably will be good for you unless you're like a very heavy smartphone power user. And if that's you, then I don't know. Then no smartphone is gonna have sufficient enough battery to suit your needs, really. But you probably want to go to like the Huawei P20 Pro or something. So that's how long the battery lasts. But how about how long it takes to fill up the battery charging? Well, if you bought only the iPhone XS or XS Max, then it's gonna suck for you. It's really gonna just suck for you, because charging the device with the charger that comes with it is it's horrible. It's so slow. It's very, very slow to charge it. It takes too long. The Apple does not include a fast charger. You have to buy a fast charger separately. And I say you might as well just do that if you're gonna buy this phone, because I don't charge it with the charger that comes in a box. I have an iPad charger that I use with it. Sometimes I use the charger from the head of the charger from my Samsung, because it actually charges the phone faster. I don't know how good that is for the battery. That's why I'm saying you might as well just buy a fast charger from Apple, since you already have $1,000 to spend, I guess. But no, it can charge your phone in like 3 hours from 0 to 100. When there are other phones, they can charge your phone in 50 minutes. You know, like the OnePlus and other Android phones. So this is not very good. You're not gonna have a lot of fun if your battery just does die or is going low. There are other things that might bug you about the device when you use it daily, but that doesn't really have to do much with the phone itself, but with iOS 12 or iOS in general at the moment. I prefer Android phones, and I think that's what I'm going to go on to use. But if you like iOS, this will matter to you. But there's a few things that I don't like. When I started using this phone, I was ready to accept that I was going to be on iOS and I was going to be limited, so I won't be able to move apps on the home screen or whatever. But there are other things that are just annoying about the phone, about iOS. On the iPhone XS and XS Max specifically, you can't see the battery percentage until you swipe down and bring up Control Center every time. So if you want to just take a quick glance and just see your battery life, you can't. You have to actually go to your phone and swipe down. This is an AMOLED screen, and it's a very good screen, but it doesn't have always on display that a lot of Android phones have. Or you can't just look and see the clock and see the date and see if you have any notifications. You have to actually open your phone to do that, you know? So that's a little annoying. That's a little annoying after you got used. If you ever got used to doing that with an Android phone before, it's gonna be a little annoying coming to this phone. Now speaking of notifications on iOS are just they're not good enough. They're not good enough. They were much worse. They were much worse in the past where they didn't even group notifications. But now, I mean, and I'm okay with the way the notification is, a notification panel. I've accepted that. That's fine. It's actually a lot better now. But it's just, if I have my phone right here in my hand and I'm talking to someone over here, because I'm not looking at my phone right now, and I get a notification on the phone while I'm talking to someone else and I'm not looking at the phone, it's gonna pop up at the top and then it's gonna go away. Then I'm gonna look back at the phone and it's gonna just look like a normal screen. Like I never got a notification. And the only way I'll know if I got that notification is if I look at the app itself and see like one of the dots like that tells me there's a notification on it, one of the red notification dots. Or it's either I do that or I have to actually swipe into my notification panel to look at it. I'm used to just seeing the notification at the top of the screen. It just pops up with a notification of the app logo right there, and then I always know when I have a lot of notifications, even if I never really saw it there. But that's just something I got used to, I guess. If you're into iOS, then you've never had this before. It's not gonna matter to you. I just thought I'd include that. The speakers are still great, but I mean, speakers don't deteriorate anyways. I haven't put mine in water a lot. I haven't really showered with it or anything. Sometimes water gets in speakers and actually damages them. I can't tell you if that's gonna happen or not with this phone, but I haven't seen a lot of people complain about it. So it's probably not that big of a problem. Now, what about the camera? The camera is still great. The camera is, I would say, the second best camera for picture taking in the world. And when you account for photos and video, I think the camera on the iPhone XS and XS Max, I think it's the best camera in the world because of the video. The only phone that takes better pictures than the iPhone is the Pixel 3. So yeah, basically the iPhone XS and XS Max, they're definitely like wine, meaning they age well over time. Very well over time. But here's the thing, other iPhones do the same thing as well. The iPhone X, which came out in 2017, you can get for cheaper now. In fact, on eBay, you can get it used from about 600 to 700 bucks. And if you bring that phone up and update it to iOS 12 and you bring it side by side with the iPhone XS Max and iPhone XS, it performs just as well. It performs very, very well. And it has about all the features. It just has a camera that's not as good with dynamic range, I guess, both in video and photos, and a tiny bit of slower Face ID scanning, but that's about it. So if you have the iPhone X already, you definitely shouldn't buy this. I mean, unless you're just borrowing your money. But if you're not and you're trying to see if it's a smart decision to buy this, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not. You don't have to buy this phone because you're not going to notice that much of an improvement from your phone. But if you have the older iPhones or so, then I mean, if you have the money to go for it, then yeah, I guess buy it. But you can also still get the iPhone X and still have about the same experience. But remember, you have options. And to be honest, if you really want iOS, then I guess we can go on this conversation. But if you don't care about the OS of your phone, you probably shouldn't be looking at this phone at all. You can get a bunch of other Android phones that actually have more features than the iPhone, and sometimes even for half the price. But if you want to buy the iPhone XS or XS Max and you want to know whether it ages well, I'm here to tell you that yes, it does.